Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, boy. All right, so we just beat Dark Souls 3. I mean, we beat the game last night. We did the entire Ring City DLC today and just finished, or at least I just finished at 9 p.m. And I had 42 hours, you had what, 54?
52.
52? And I had 44 hours maybe. And
Yeah.
we beat every single boss, cleared every single area, did every single thing.
Oh, yeah, we did.
I'd say, like, just talking about the game at like a base review, I'd say it's probably SS tier. It's a high quality game for me. It's it's not as good as Elden Ring because Elden Ring had
Yeah.
that shock of like first being a Dark Souls game for me, and it is Elden Ring. But I'd say it's a very I'd probably say it's the second best in the series so far, and then Bloodborne may top it. And then depending on how Sekiro's combat works, it may compete.
It may even top
But
that.
like I think Dark Souls 2 and Dark Souls 1 and Demon Souls and all those won't touch Dark Souls 3.
No.
I still want to play Dark Souls 1 though. Okay. How do you want to do this? And we're doing it. Are we doing collab because you have the same tiers as me? Are we doing it as in we're ranking them like together? Like our
Sure.
opinions collab or our own
Yeah.
opinions?
Collab.
All right. So are we starting alphabetical? I think so.
Yep. No, well, yeah.
All right.
Abyss Watchers, S tier. That's an S tier boss right there.
I'd say A plus because here's here's what I'm gonna do too. Let me quickly look something
It's
up.
gotta be S tier because the moveset was just so cool. You had the other two dudes come into the arena, and one could be your friend, and it was this cool duel battle. Pretty
Alright.
sick.
Alright.
I say S tier motherfucking boss. And then the
My
fire
thing
train.
is, I played it when it was you and Ryan on the couch with us doing the co-op play offline, and I didn't really play too much of it or remember too much of it either. I thought the intros and the cutscenes were cool and the music was really great, but I didn't remember being especially challenging.
It wasn't like super especially challenging, but it was just a cool fight. Like
Yeah, I'd say it was one. I'd say it's probably the coolest early game fight
yeah,
up to
so
that
it's
point.
so it's S tier, right?
All right, we'll go S tier. We'll push it in S. Because I think music and it had pretty good mechanics, wasn't OP. All right, Aldrich, I'd say A, maybe B.
Um,
My thoughts on him are to get to him like entirely, it was kind of a pain, but it was also fun leveling. And then the
yeah.
walk up to the bridge once you got the shortcut was epic.
Yeah, his area was super sick, and it
Yeah.
was from the first Dark Souls.
Then when you go inside, like there's not too his cutscenes and soundtrack weren't too amazing. Like nothing stood out. He had some cool. The arrows were cool for like the very first time you
Yeah,
saw them, like just because it was like Gilgamesh's reign of weapons. But after that, it was became annoying, and he's kind of just like a gimmick magic boss that he's pretty squishy. You just kind of sit on top of him and stagger him.
yeah,
We beat him in like 3 tries or 5 tries or 10 tries.
I'd say B. I'd say B.
I'd say B2. Let's not be too generous.
Yeah.
He's a good boss, but he's not that good. Champion Gunter S.
Yep, S tier. That's
I'd
an
say
S tier
S
boss.
plus. That's like an S plus, like top of S.
Well, can't have that
Yeah.
many
So
tiers.
he's like top of S for me. Like he is. I thought the setting with the Dark Knight was fucking so sick. His
Yep.
music was fantastic. Parrying him was one of the best parry fight, probably the best parry fight in the game. I think, just because like it was very balanced, especially my leveling right there. So it felt good. Like you had to parry him pretty frequently. I'd say so.
Yeah. The smoothness of his animations and how like the fight could get into a rhythm where you're just like swinging and then immediately dodging an attack and then swinging again. It was
Yeah.
just super
And it's
fun.
one of those where it's very balanced and like kind of you learn the fight and it's 101, Like the
But
original.
he can catch you off guard in the second phase with his right hooks.
Yeah, like the
Jesus.
Eodux Gundar one, like he had that fight was pretty easy for the most part, but also very just good in terms of mechanics and learning the game. And then this one was just next level. And then that second phase, like you said, he had the mix ups with the fist. He could do the shield bash. He could
And
do
he
the
could literally
shield
combo you. He literally
launch.
launched you into the air and hit you while you were in
I
the
forgot
air.
to look him up. Anything else on him? Anything
Uh,
else?
the music was sick. The
Yeah,
music was definitely
music was
sick.
sick. It was epic.
Yeah, the
It's
kick move too.
like it's just a very well balanced fight. Sort of like Morgott,
Yeah.
and you could parry all these moves. The fist, double fist,
Yep.
the shield bash.
Fist into the shoulder.
Yeah, the shoulder. That shit pissed me off. So, but he was probably one of my favorite. The drop kick.
Yes,
drop
yes. He
kick.
launched you and then kicked you after that. That was so
I mean, that did big damage. If you didn't
Yeah.
have however much vigor, you were pretty much dead on that move.
Yep. He's
That's-
an S tier, easily.
Yeah. And imagine if we were even more under leveled. We could have like learned him so much better, like Sister Free too.
Yep.
Like if those moves one shot us, like the drop kick, that would have made it so much more challenging.
That would be fucked. Alright.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Next one, Crystal Sage. See your dog shit? See your dog shit?
Moving
I'll
on.
go dog shit with you.
Moving on. I think
First phase, her first phase is so goddamn easy. It is literally so goddamn easy. And then the second phase, it's actually just World War II on the battlefield, dodging a fucking machine gun ice pellet bitch.
All right, I'm gonna show you something really quick, Aiden.
I know what clip you're gonna pull up. That this shit was hilarious. I think it was earlier on, maybe. I mean, this is at the very end. Oh.
There we go. You can hear me just screaming, dude. Dude! 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 That's all you need to see. I can't even get a hit in! Oh my god! Who thought this
Yeah,
was a good design?
fight.
Who thought this was a good design? 4 fucking copies! Alright, yeah, so do this. I mean, she's just a magic bitch, but like, she summons the girls that do projectiles the entire time, and you gotta hit them one by one. It's like facing Renala, but it's like such a boring. That Renala first phase is such a terrible design, anyways.
Yep. Dancer, S tier.
Yeah, because I think it was funny when we first ran into her early on when you discovered her on accident. So like, we got to her super early, and when she grabbed you at one shot.
Yeah, that was super cool. And her intro animation and just the sound in the arena.
Yeah, her
how it's all
OST is really
quiet.
good.
Yeah.
Her actual design too, the way she looks and
Yeah,
like crawls,
and-
it's so eerie and weird.
Every single one of her moves looks so cool. Yeah.
I kind of
just
wish
a-
I would have faced her lower level.
Yeah, me too as well. Because we were kind of just shitting on her.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Deacons of the Deep.
dog shit.
Is there a tier, is there a tier
Actually-
lower than this?
Dog shit. Nah, I don't think there is. Just call it Deacon. Deacon tier.
All right.
That shit is so ass.
This is the worst, one of the worst boss fights in the entire Dark Souls like games I've ever played. And that just is really Elden Ring in this game, and an hour of Sekiro. What's a worse boss fight? The Earl Serrated Tree Spirit, maybe?
No. I can't think of a worse boss fight.
It's like just standing. I can't even describe it. and I have it. I have it on my video again, but I don't want to pull it up. Deacons. Is there any redeeming qualities about this boss fight?
No, not at all, because they just huddle up in a group, and you try and swing at one of them, they all do magic, and then it switches places, so you can kill him, you can put bunch damage on him. And then at the end he shoots curse, one-shot arrows at you. Unless you can hit him, surrounded by all of his fucking fat boys.
Yeah.
There is nothing redeeming about
it's
that.
Boring. The music sucks. The arena sucks.
The arena's okay, I guess.
It could have better lighting. It's just bland lighting.
Yeah, not much there.
Greatwood following it up.
C. I'm throwing this in C. Okay, Greatwood is actually cool because it's a massive tree spirit, and the transition to phase 2 is so unexpected.
Yeah.
You gotta throw
I'll
it in
say
C
it is
tier,
in one of those weird tiers, yeah. It's one of those weird, because once you got the gimmicks too, it wasn't impossible.
Yeah, it was super easy once you got the gimmick down.
I'd say a good A tier boss.
Yep.
Like, significance in lore and all that, maybe you could put him even higher in the fact that he's the first boss, but he was just a solid, good first boss. He was a little easy, I think. You beat him, but his second phase did turn up a little bit. If you're a new player,
Yeah.
I could see how you struggle on him.
Yep.
Oseros, B, maybe C.
Oseros. I don't know where I want to put him. I beat this guy so fast.
That's what I'm
guess
saying.
B.
It's hard to...
Like, I actually destroyed this guy.
Look at this. You beat him first try, I think.
Oh yeah, I did.
And I beat him like sub 10. I didn't really like a lot of... Like, the arena was pretty lame. His design was really lame. The music was off.
But he does give you...
He had like okay mechanics, but they were very quirky, and a lot of his damage came when he teleported on you, and he just had weird timing.
But he does give you the Moonlight Greatsword. I think he's fine in B.
Yeah, that's fine. All right,
Demon King.
Dude, I gotta look this up. I don't remember this one because this was again when we played couch co-op.
Yeah.
Right,
I'd say this is an A+ boss. He has a very cinematic feel to him in his moves in the final phase, or in the second phase.
Did you beat him?
Yeah, I beat him like third try.
Yeah. I mean, he looks alright, and he was early on too.
Yeah, he was.
I'd give him, what'd you say, A+?
Yeah, he was
I'd
good.
go with that too. Pontus Sullivan, I'd say S. Above
S,
Abyss
yeah.
Watchers for me. Above Dancer for me. In terms of actual experience. Because
Yeah.
once you got the shortcut to him too, it wasn't a bad run. And it was actually pretty cool leveling to get there. Then the arena was sick. It's like this church, but it's like this eerie feeling. It's so fucking cool. And you can parry the first attack like I did.
Here, give me 1 second.
Alright.
You keep talking.
Pontiff. Let me look him up real quick. Pontiff Sullivan. So, basically my thoughts on Pontiff were... It's so sick. You can parry him on this first attack when he leaps at you. He's got one of the most, like, parryable, I guess, exposures. What would you call it? Like,
What do you mean?
he's one of the easiest bosses to parry, and like parrying is one of the best things to do against this kind of a boss.
Yeah.
The only annoying things is he summons his clone, but even then you can parry his clone.
Yeah, you can parry the clone, and if you just dodge and then parry, it pretty much lines it up perfectly.
Yeah. I like the color of his weapons too. The orange and purple are sick combined. The I think he does like good damage. Like he could kill you pretty quick, and he's fair in that way. But also he's pretty weak in a lot of ways. Like if you parry him 4 times, you pretty much win the game. Parry and repost.
Yeah. I
Especially
feel like
with
a
my
lot
build.
of the bosses in Dark Souls 3 were like not so much as like huge health bars, but like they can do a fuck ton of damage and you can do a fuck ton of damage.
Yeah, very much that way.
Makes it more action packed, in my opinion.
Board.
Vort's A. He's
I'd
just
agree.
fine.
He's early on, and so for an early on boss, he was one of the better ones because he had a pretty cool intro. His music was great, or his
Yep.
soundtrack. The run back was pretty memorable. That area was ass, but when we finally got the shortcuts, I remember it was the night that I got like pretty blasted, and I was struggling on the boss, but he didn't take too long. I think I beat him in 10 or 11 tries, under an hour, under 30 minutes or something. And
Yeah.
and yeah, I thought he had a pretty unique design and mechanics, but once you got used to him, it was pretty easy.
Yep. Volnir. I'd
Uh,
say C.
I don't remember Volnir. Volnir or Wolnir?
Like WOLNIR.
Or- Let me see this guy. Oh, you know what? I do remember this guy. Oh, he sucked. He was boring.
Yeah, but it didn't take that long, so
Yeah, he's one of those giant bosses. Huh. I would also agree with C tier. Because he wasn't, like, offensive. Like Deacon tier.
no.
Yorm SS.
Yep.
First SS.
Yorm is the perfection of the spectacle boss. He is so cool in so many ways. He's not overtly difficult once you realize the gimmick, and then it's all about the spectacle, baby. Doesn't have to be difficult.
Yep. I love the way that you use spectacle. That's the perfect way of putting it. Where if you, no matter what weapon you use to start, you understand that this guy's a gimmick or a spectacle boss, then he serves the purpose of that really well. Like he's the best that you could have. The music, the soundtrack, it's so intense.
Yep. The
Like,
arena.
once you enter there, it's so intense. It just like clouds your ears, and like all you can hear about is like this sort of chanting and like really big stakes type music. And then if you fight him without the gimmick weapon, it's hard as shit, which we didn't do. Like that would have been one of the hardest. things
We
to do.
should have tried.
Yeah, we
that.
should have tried. That would have been like one. That would be like a run back that I would do to try and do that, because that would be tough as fuck. But still, I think the actual mechanics weren't that hard. I think he had a couple of tough moves to get through, but like in his second phase, he got pretty sporadic. But
Yeah.
we did.
But
I think,
wasn't that bad.
and then once I understood the run back was also pretty fun too. It wasn't that bad. And once I understood the gimmick weapon and how you charged it up, and you could like pre-charge it before you go in,
Yeah.
and the way that it makes like this giant gusting wind noise where
It's just the perfection of
yeah,
the spectacle.
like your ears are blown out every single time, and it's a quick fight. It is a quick fight. So it's
Yeah.
like you go in there and immediately his soundtrack starts playing. Your weapon's already charged up, so it's like
And
the
this
gust-
guy is making his way down a giant hallway
Yeah.
to beat your ass.
And it's like both the music and the gust of wind are going together, and your ears are getting destroyed, and you're like dodging giant swings from this huge fucking cleaver of a weapon, and then you've got this charged weapon that like you can finally unleash, like Excalibur or something,
Yeah.
and then you can like repost him.
Such a cool boss.
It's like,
Such a
and it was
boss.
perfect. It was perfect level of difficulty, I think, like where.
I think it should have been a little more difficult.
I think it should have too, but like if you
But,
do
like-
no gimmick weapon, that's hard as hell.
Hmm.
So I'm saying like in that way, I'm saying without a gimmick weapon factored in. Anyways, SS. I want to play him again. He's one of my favorites for sure. And
Yep.
like just design when you look at his actual size and all that, beautiful. Ancient Wyvern. I'm gonna
I'd
say C.
give it B.
All
I
right.
give it B because I like what they were trying to do, but the fact that you just one shot the dragon just made it all kind of silly. But it goes by pretty quick, and there's a whole arena to it. I don't know.
Yeah. So it's not
Dragon Slayer armor A
yeah,
plus.
A plus.
Yeah, dude, this guy was sick.
I'm gonna say A. I thought he was like cool, but he's also one of the last bosses you face. So if he was early game, like he would be higher, but late game he wasn't that sick. And I think I beat him first or second try.
I mean, it was still pretty cool because it's Ornstein coming back from the dead.
Ornstein, is that who it
Yeah.
was?
Yeah.
Interesting. And he probably would have been tough. I think we were over leveled,
Yeah, we were.
which I don't know
give it an
how.
A plus.
Yeah, we could give him A plus. Like, yeah, look at that damage. He was not doing that kind of damage to us. Maybe he was, but
Nah.
anyways, yep, I'll agree. I'll put him A plus. All right, Loraya, and Lothric. Oh, I'd
I'd
say
put him A plus as well.
A plus.
Yeah, dude, because
Dude,
the teleporting
I didn't like the arena to start. I'll go ahead and say that.
the teleporting honestly wasn't that bad for me, at least.
Like the arena wasn't that cool to me. I liked the first phase with the teleport. Well, yeah, the teleporting wasn't that bad. If I'd gotten better with parrying too, that would have been a lot more fun of a boss fight, where you just parry the teleport attack every single time. But I couldn't get really good with it, so I just ended up not parrying it. They have cool weapons that drop.
Yep.
Music's okay, serves its purpose. What does second phase look like? Oh yeah, that's right.
But if you stayed in close, he never did that.
Yeah. But I remember how much we hated that second phase. You remember?
I remember, but then once I beat him, I was like, you know what? If I just stayed in close, it wouldn't have been that bad.
See, I'm keeping him at A for me. Like I would fight for B. I would fight.
All right, I'll put him in A.
I don't know, man. How do you feel about it?
I mean, I feel like it should be A plus, but you apparently feel differently.
All right, fine. We'll go A plus. I just feel like that's got to be a special tier, and this doesn't feel like it goes there. I think I like this fight more than Loraya.
What fight? Dragon Slayer?
You had Excunder.
Really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, you know my
Gotta
thoughts. You know my thoughts. We'll put an A plus. All right, Nameless King SS. I'd say
Yep.
higher than Yorm, unfortunately, just because, even though Yorm is SS and he's a spectacle, he didn't last long. Whereas Nameless King
Yeah.
went on for a while.
And he was a spectacle as well. Just turning on his arena was a spectacle.
Yeah, and I think we spent what 3-4 hours on him.
Yep.
He had getting through the area to get to him was also a fun run. The run back was very quick, and the clouds were such a cool concept. And first phase, like at first, was intimidating, but then it became like you're going hitless first phase, and you're reposting all the time, and it's really fun. And then second phase, it's like a lot of roll R1s, like you're fighting, what's his name from Elden Ring, in his second phase, Horolo,
Horley.
Horolu. So it's like you just got to be quick with it and roll and hit and roll. But it's a good one and it's pretty fair. And the music is fantastic too. And the
Yep.
cutscenes, one of the best cutscenes too.
Cutscenes were amazing as well. Just his look in the second phase was so cool. And he has a bunch of lore behind him as well. Look at that.
And you learn the fight so well like you do with Sister Freed.
Yep.
And then he turns up right here. Oh my god. And your headset, that thing is shaking. You are getting ready to run through a brick wall. I'm like ready to hop in a cage.
Yeah, this was fucking sick. Looking at him. And then he's
so
his attacks.
This fight is, dude, it's just like Morgott and Horaloo, where it's you have to just sit right on top and keep just dodging back and forth into him.
And I love those fights.
I do too, because you just have to be good. And the more health they have, the longer you have to stay good, and just not give up. I love it. SS best so far. Solo
Yep.
Sender, I'd say SS, but lower.
But down.
Yeah, maybe even
I'd say
worse than
below
Yorm.
Yorm.
Yeah, unfortunately. As the Bloody Moon concept is and that backdrop is so fucking wild. Like I love that, especially since it reminds me of Berserk. But the boss fight arena was okay. It was kind of like it was like a Nashon area, nighttime ish, with the sunset. So that was.
You know what? No, I'm putting him above Yorm.
Yeah, because I liked his mechanics. I think the issue is again we were over leveled. Like
Yeah.
I don't know what it was about our level for that spree towards the end, but we were just smoking them. Like I think our vigor was too high because we weren't getting one shot and getting bullshitted on moves that maybe we should have been. And
I mean, I had 20 vigor until the end.
I think you had 25.
Oh, did I?
Yeah. But anyways, I just think I think in our experience he wasn't this high of a boss because we killed him relatively easily as a final one. But I think his music, lore, setting and all that worked well. So all right, Champion's
Yep.
Grave, Tenders C.
That is correct tier for this.
Fuck you.
Fuck this guy, dude.
Fuck
Starts
these guys.
Starts off with fucking what? 3 wolves with him, and then you have to kill the wolves who sometimes sit behind him and wait for the dude to attack
and
you first.
Let's give some history to the big wolf because there's 2 bosses here. Let's give some history to that big guy, huh?
Yep, we fight that guy on the mountainside. He glitches into the roof for you, and
Took me an hour, over an hour to beat that guy. Just one of those great wolves.
then when you did beat him, you got him down to half health, and he just glitched into the wall and insta died.
Yep. And then we go to the boss fight.
So it took you an hour to get him to half health, and then insta die.
And then we get him go to the boss fight. What do you know? More of these goddamn tiny wolves. And of course you got to
Don't worry, there's a big wolf coming in.
Of course you got to deal with them. We were definitely under leveled for that DLC.
Yep.
That's what made it like so miserable for that first one, but so great for the other one we'll talk about. Because it's just like, I mean, the wolves really did damage to you. You had to take care of them carefully because they could hit over 50% of your health. So it was they could do damage. But then when you learn the secret to the smaller guy, I can't remember his name, you just ran away. That's all I did is I like would run and then have him jump towards me and punish him then. Although I wish I parried earlier on.
Oh yeah, parrying him probably would have been the best.
Yeah, I just didn't really get good like that before. I thought the setting was pretty cool too, running in
Yeah,
like
the
the ice of
setting's cool.
flowers. But the boss was so small. I mean, it's this little guy, Champion's Gravetender, and then the wolf. And yeah, but all I would do is just run, let him jump, and then I'd punish. The wolf. I just struggled early on with like 2-on-1 boss fights. So, I'd say C.
Yeah,
Alright,
I would
Sister
agree.
Freed. SS.
SS.
Maybe the best. Maybe the best.
I think it has to be the best.
Because here's my... Okay, you go ahead. I want to hear your talk about it.
Because, first of all,
Speak, boy.
the intro cutscene was just fantastic. It was an amazing intro cutscene with the guy screaming about his flail. Bring me my flail. And then Sister Freed comes in. She has insane moves. And that one-shot move that you're like, I'm dead, I'm dead. And it made the first phase really difficult when we had lower health. And then we finally made it to second phase.
Keep going.
And the big guy was just pounding around. It's actually a well-done duo boss fight. And then third phase, you didn't even know what was going to happen. She pops up out of the ground. That shit was awesome. And she has insane movement. Actually insane movement. And if you have Slave Knight Gale, you can just beat her ass for a while. Everything about it. The amount of metas that we had during this fight. We went from parrying, or not parrying, to parrying, back to not parrying. I mean, the work we had to put in to beat this fight. This was the longest fight we ever took. It was like 5 hours, 5-6 hours.
Alright, now I'm about to fucking jump in right here, Aiden. I appreciate your thoughts on this one.
Think about that. Think about that, Davis. You put in what, 44 hours?
Yep. What about it?
And you spent 5 of those hours
No,
fighting
more.
this one person.
No. It was more like 6.
6 of those hours fighting this one person.
So, here's my thoughts on Sister Freed. I was level 57 when I played the Ashes of Ariandel DLC. And when we got to Sister Freed, I was level 57. It's such a quick run back. There was so many evolutions to this boss fight. Like, I remember when we first played, it was just the first phase that fucked us up. And it was like any of the first phase attacks, but specifically this move, this teleport move, because I didn't understand how it worked. And I also was such a low level that I could get one shot if I missed. So like, that move one-shot me. There was a couple other moves in the first phase that one-shot me that were just complete, fucking bullshit. And so, like, it made the fight super hard for me. Then I finally got to a second phase after, like, getting good. And the second phase, as you said, designed perfectly as a dual boss fight. You know, the big guy, you can pretty much target him and let Gale target the girl, which Gale is an amazing summon. He works perfectly as like a risk-reward play.
Look at that guy too. That guy looks so weird. Look at him.
And then, of course, like you said,
and the arena is sick. It's all on fire and shit.
Then like you finally get beat second phase, and then you realize you're like, there's a third phase, which really has never happened in a lot of games. So it just throws you off, and she's even more powerful. And
dude, she is insane in the third phase.
Yeah, you have to play so much defense and just let her do her thing. But that's why I love the fight, is we were under-leveled as fuck. So the fight was so hard, but it also made us get so good at the game. Because like we got so good at just mastering every single phase. Because my last attempt, I beat her perfectly, flawless, the first 2 phases. Can't remember how many last third phase, but it was good.
I think you had 7.
So,
but yeah,
experience, like, she's one of my favorite bosses I've fought, I think.
Yep, I'd say she's SS.
And she started as a lower tier. Like, when we first started with her, dude, she did the ice bullshit in that first phase, and she kept teleporting. I really had her lower. I did not like the boss fight. But
Hey, but the number of times we ran through that bitch, I
I
mean,
know, and it's like probably some of my favorite videos and reactions is in those
yeah.
videos. All right, Dark Eater Madeir S.
Uh,
I'd say top of S.
I'd say A plus.
All right, thank you. Top of A plus.
Yeah,
So
because this guy, like,
spectacle.
yes, he's a spectacle. Yes, his transition to second phase is so fucking cool. But and yes, he's the best dragon fight that they've ever done. But it's still a dragon fight, and it's kind of just
Dude,
hard to keep the
I
lock.
love the way that you described that. Keep going.
You just made me lose my train of thought. Aster.
I'm
Uh,
so sorry. I'm so
this
sorry.
fucking guy.
You were talking about
Uh,
how it's like the best dragon boss fight, but it's still a dragon boss fight.
yeah, but it's still a dragon boss fight, and it's hard to keep track on its head. And I lose the lock on every 5 fucking seconds, and then I immediately get hit afterwards. There's still like the fire bullshit where he can spread it across the entire arena, and you have to dodge through perfectly. I mean, yeah, it's one of the best spectacles in the game, but it doesn't play as well as, like, compared to normal bosses, not comparing to dragon bosses. It doesn't play as well as a lot of these other ones. Like, I'd say Gundyr plays so much better than this guy,
Yeah.
but this guy is a much better spectacle for it.
See, I pretty much agree with everything you're gonna say. So whatever I repeat, just I apologize in advance. But it's a spectacle boss fight that isn't as good as Yorm's, I don't think. The music is very loud, somehow probably the loudest music I've heard. And oh, talking on the Sister Freed fight that we didn't even touch on. That's the first boss fight in since I've played Dark Souls games that I have actually not been able to listen to music. Now I stopped listening to music for copyright and stuff, but like I stopped for that fight because I could not. I had to listen to her teleport, otherwise I was getting world starred. And the evolution of learning that was great. But
Yeah.
anyways, with Madeir, he was probably my second, maybe my third longest boss fight. He took me
And
what
he
like
was just
2 hours.
tanky.
He took me like
was
2 hours. Yeah,
tanky.
he had too much health, but I was under level 2. And you said it perfectly. He's the best dragon boss fight that's it we've faced so far between Elden Ring and this game. I think he had a lot more move sets and mechanics and like interactions, and he had a lot more spectacle to him. And he felt like a good monster hunter kind of monster. But he still played like a dragon fight. You had to hit his face and stay under him and run away all the time from his fire attack, and he did tons of damage and could one-shot you pretty quickly.
Yeah. The lock on was my biggest pet peeve, dude. I could not keep that thing locked on to save my life. Literally. But he's still an A plus after all
Yeah,
that.
I still like the location you fight him in. The drop
Yep.
down is like Borderlands 2 style, so that's always going to grab me, and like I appreciate those aspects of a game. So and that would make me want to put him up in S for those reasons, honestly, like bottom of S.
Nah.
Because like when I look at Abyss Watchers, I'm like, honestly, I played more Dark Eater Madeir, and even though I didn't like him or didn't like a lot of my experience, at the end of the day, I did like the fight.
Maybe. I'll
Like
put him
even
at the bottom.
like
I'll put
even
him at
with
the bottom of the S tier.
even with Dancer, cause yeah, bottom of S at least. Cause like even with Dancer, I beat Dancer in what like 4 tries, in like 15 minutes.
Yeah, but if we were an over level, they would.
I know, but like as an experience, even if the boss fight's trash, there's something about time put into it, whether it's a bad or good experience, regardless of that, that makes you appreciate the boss fight.
Yeah.
And that's like Dark Eater, where it's like, even though maybe 60% of the time I didn't like how I fought him, and like I didn't like that I had to stand still when I landed, or I thought it was cool at first, but then I just had to wait 10 seconds when the boss fight started. There's a lot of annoying parts of it, but at the end of the day, I put so much time into it. I do value it over others.
Demon Prince SS. SS. I'm saying
Okay.
now.
Okay, where though? Where are you thinking? Because I
I'm
agree.
putting him below King of Storm, King of the Storm,
You
and
think he's
Mane of
better than
Storm.
Soul of Cinder?
Yeah, yep. He is a spectacle. He is Ornstein and Smoke. He is the second phase power up. He's all that wrapped into one, and he's an amazing,
Okay, you
just an
know what?
amazing boss fight.
Just to start, before you go on, I agree in S tier at or with this placement because one, this was the first time that we saw sort of that Dark Souls style of the Borderlands jumping because this was a big early part of the DLC. This was the first boss we faced, and what a first boss it was! Like when it was Gale telling us to jump everywhere, and we kept trusting Gale,
Yep.
and then we finally got to this one. And it was a massive jump, like Borderlands 2, and we landed and it ended up being a boss fight. I thought the music was very good. I thought the design for a dual boss fight, even though it was challenging, you that first phase you kind of got to master it. So it felt like a what was the Elden Ring boss fight, the Godsend Duo. It felt like that boss fight where yes, it's hard as shit, but you can kind of master it. And this is what that felt like. It was tough to master and annoying to master, but once you did, it was a little bit of relief and gratitude and accomplishment.
Yeah, dude. Everything, everything about it.
And like this,
The,
like you said when you pointed out whatever one you killed just depends on the move set.
yeah, that was sick. One did like a massive ball of flame, and one did a laser beam that was sick as fuck. And the fact that the only light in this entire arena is the flame on their bodies. And the Demon Prince coming back, the lore behind that, having it be the when the last demon dies, he'll be resurrected as the Demon Prince.
Yeah, and I really like the atmosphere, as you said. It's like bottom of the caves, but it's really dark, and all we see is the fire of the boss.
Yep. And the first phase with just the two dudes was like three phases. The first phase you just beat on the guy and dodge the other guy's toxic attacks. And then there was a point in time where you couldn't attack because they were both enraged, and then once that died down,
Yeah,
you could attack them. Just so super balanced.
yeah, I agree. I was a big fan of the fight. There was only a couple of moments where I was annoyed by the dual part of it, but other than that, I thought it was great.
This person
B,
A
B, I'd say
A.
B.
I mean, it
I
was
beat him
still
first
pretty
try.
cool.
Beat her first try. Yeah, I thought the arena wasn't that great. What is that? What does the title say? Spear of the what? Church?
Half Light Spear of the Church.
Spear. One, this was kind of the area of the time in the game where we were just over leveled for some reason, and so we beat her easily. I beat her first try, and anytime I beat a boss first try, no matter how cool they are, it makes me think less of them. I thought the giant person here was a cool concept, but didn't really do much.
Yeah.
And then mine was weird. I had a weird interaction where like she became an invader and she had invader health. And once I beat the invader, I won. Like,
Really.
like look, there's just nothing really special about this boss fight. So
Yeah,
maybe
we could throw it in B.
yeah. All right, Slave Nightingale SS.
Is he top of SS or right below Sister Freed?
Oh, you think maybe better than King of the Storm or Nightmare's
Yeah.
King? Yeah, I agree. I think we were still a little over leveled for him. Like, but maybe not even over leveled. It's just a lot of these bosses are designed, as you were talking about, where it's glass cannon versus glass cannon, Malekith type style. We're
Yeah.
both gonna swing hard as fuck. One of us is gonna get punched out or knocked out first in one hit.
Although he had a fuck ton of health.
Yeah,
He had a fuck ton of health.
I loved his cinematic intro. I loved the concept because I knew about his name going into it, just like Medeir's. But I finally got to see the boss fight in the area. I
And
thought,
the setting is like you and Slave Knight Gale are the last two people to ever exist, and you're just gonna battle it out because he has the Dark Soul.
yeah, and he has the leaping like cinematic intro. You know what I'm talking about? Where like it's slow
Yeah.
motion. Why am I not even showing it?
Everything about this boss fight was great. I don't know. Like,
The
I feel
setting
like
was
maybe
the setting.
when I think back on it, it
Right.
feels like I should have been over leveled, but I never did a lot of damage to him.
Yeah.
I always did so little damage, and all of his moves would two-shot me, like every single one. So like maybe we're just getting better at the game, and
I think it is that, honestly. It's that, and it's like sort of a Malekith style where he just doesn't have a lot of. Not really, I guess.
he has a lot of health.
Yeah.
Like
He just had a lot of
it
openings.
feels like we were over leveled, but I feel like it's just a skill gap at this point.
Yeah, he just had a lot of openings, I feel,
Yeah.
looking at this fight. There was a couple of bullshit moves like the 5-hit combo that would catch me every now and then. But. And the cutscene, the transition.
Yeah.
It was so sick. This is another one where he kind of stayed up close. He had the
His
gun.
fucking minigun.
Yeah, his minigun. He's definitely SS. All right, but look at this. Is how you know this was a great, fantastic game. Look at where the bosses are, where they're kind of leaning.
Yeah.
It's definitely top heavy. Most are in SS.
Except for B. B had a lot, which maybe Aldrich and maybe Osiris should be a little higher, and we were just over leveled for him.
No, I still wouldn't like him. This guy's really magic heavy, and this guy, I didn't like the design or the feel of it all. It wasn't like a fun fight or atmosphere to be in.
Yeah. I don't know.
And I didn't like his mechanics were kind of weird, like a dog. But I think this is a pretty accurate tier list, honestly. Some of the worst time playing in Dark Souls game right here. Still struggled here as well, but some
A
triumph.
lot of highs and a lot of
Yeah, a
lows.
lot of highs, a lot of lows with this one right here. These were just kind of boring or like easy, and that's kind of where B I think stands for me.
Yeah.
These were just good, solid picks. Nothing wrong with them. These were
Those-
above average, like feeling good about them. These were fantastic. I keep saying, it. But these were These were really solid picks, like some of the best
Yeah.
in the series, but not complete masterpieces. And then these
And
were,
SS is nearly perfect.
yeah, these are like ones that you remember as some of the best in the franchise in the series.
Yep. I feel like this game had so many just like top 10 Soulsborne bosses.
Yeah, and I don't know if how the leveling worked or if we just got good, but I appreciated how they approached the boss fight difficulty. Like we beat that game in 44 hours, and there were some tough ones, but for the most part, they weren't annoyingly impossible. And
Nope.
there were you could make an argument, and I will make a little bit of an argument and like talk from both sides of my mouth here that that was a bad thing, because there were a lot of boss fights like Pontiff Solivan, like Gale, Soul of Cinder, Yorm, where I wish that we played them lower level or made them harder.
I mean, we may just have to play at a lower level
Yeah.
altogether because I feel like we're just too good.
Or no armor. No armor really makes it hard.
I mean, no armor really fucks you up because that fucks up your poise as well.
Yeah, that's why it's hard as well. Anyways, I think that's the end of the tier list. That's a good tier list. Top heavy, very very good game.
Yeah. Where would you rate Dark Souls 3 in your list of games?
I was saying it was gonna be probably SS. Probably like bottom of SS. Like,
Big game.
all right, here we are, right? Here's my games, which MK would now be right here.
I would put it above Minecraft.
I would put it right here above Strikers.
Yep.
That's where I'd put it.